Yo. So I wanted to give my 6 cents on this, because I think it's such a major story, and because it concerns sports, and football is a sport. Um, so this is obviously to do with my views on Kaepernick and his protest during an American rugby game. Side notes, it can't be called football because for most of the time people use their hands with the ball. So Americans calling it football doesn't make any sense. There's only one sport called football, and that is the beautiful game. It should really be called American rugby. But I digress. So Kaepernick, I think about a year ago, he knelt down during the US national anthem because he wanted to bring awareness to the police brutality and the several cases caught on camera of where policemen pretty much killed African Americans in cold blood. So you could talk about the legality, was it right or was it wrong? I have my view on it. I know what I saw, and for me, I felt that it's a case of like you have to investigate because I don't do grey areas. I'm about right or wrong. Again, what I saw was like that looks effed up. Let's have a proper investigation. This doesn't look right. Proper investigations weren't had, or they were had by people who were conveniently going to let off those particular police officers because we all know that it's a boys' club. So then Kaepernick was attacked because they felt that he was disrespecting the flag. Kaepernick did what he did to raise people's awareness of police brutality and the injustices within America. But people said, you're disrespecting the flag. So you have to understand the whole point of what a protest is. Because a guy made a point here, and this was during the whole Undisputed with the Great Championship. A guy made a point that he didn't like how Kaepernick protested. If he protested a different way, then that would have been better. That's not how a protest works. The way a protest works is it makes people uncomfortable. So when you're uncomfortable, it's that anger makes you listen up and boom, that's it, I've got your attention. Let's now have a dialogue. But if you're not uncomfortable, you won't take attention, and we can't have a dialogue because you can easily ignore it because I don't have your attention. The way I have your attention is by doing something that will piss you off in a event which is popular within America, which is the NFL. And then once I do that, we can now have the conversation. The fact that the conversation now has to be had. Now, you can choose to deny having a conversation. That's your prerogative. But the way in which a protest works, or how Luther King did it, the great Malcolm X did it, the great Rosa Parks did it, is you have to do something to piss people off. You've got to get something that can really get people to take notice. So we fast forward to today now, and Trump. Again, look, let me just say something about Trump. I need Trump's tweets every day because Trump is hilarious. And I think he knows he's hilarious. That is why he keeps on tweeting. So he goes at the NFL saying that people who kneel or don't stand for the flag disrespect the flag, and then those SOBs should be taken off the pitch, or they should be fired. And Trump knew what he was doing. Because Trump is trying to mess up the NFL for his own personal reasons, based off, I think, him trying to ban an NFL team. He's trying to mess us up. And he played everyone. Because you now have the owners who were against Kaepernick, didn't sign Kaepernick because he disrespected the flag. How could you do this? Quickly, going back to the flag and this whole thing of, America, the great. You do realize that America was founded on stolen land. Millions upon millions of true Americans, the American Indians, were murdered and they were killed. You do realize that. The land was stolen. And the foundation was based off free labor, free slave labor. That's the foundation of America. So again, let's talk about everything. Don't just put that thing to the side. Oh, America, the great, actually disrespect. Let's talk about disrespecting stolen land that was founded and built upon free slave labor. That's a fact. This is not a lie. That is a fact. So you go to now these players and these owners, and they're all now kneeling down and they're holding hands and all. And I'm like, you losers. You're a bunch. Those players who are now kneeling or doing that stuff, you're a bunch of losers. You owners, you're a bunch of losers because you're only doing that because Trump came after you. And what Trump has done is that he has now gotten those hardcore patriots to now boycott the NFL. Because they're like, wait a minute. You're all disrespecting the flag. Even you, the owners, that's it. Because the owners, they were put in a difficult position where they felt that they had to react to what Trump said. And now Trump is sitting back saying, you know what, I've got all of this in my support. These guys that got me into the White House, these hardcore patriots who got me to the White House, man, I'm just lapping it all up. But I think those players, you should be embarrassed. Especially people like Ray Lewis. For me, he's probably next to Michael Bay and Brand Singh is probably was one of the most annoying people. Like watching him speak just even pisses me off. So again, I want no parts of him at all. But I think that's the thing. It's the narrative. People are now focusing on this narrative of like, we're now against Trump. We're now against Trump as a president. We're not standing together as an NFL. And people have forgotten. Now wait a minute. No, the kneeling thing all began with Kaepernick, based off him raising awareness of the injustices in America. And if people don't want to listen to this injustice or want to ignore it, that's your prerogative. And for me, I'm one of those guys where, look, man, racism is real. Racism does exist. And to think that, oh no, racism doesn't exist, it's just a construct, you're living in la la land, because that's just what humanity is about tonight. This is why I always say to people that racism doesn't die, it just evolves. It manifests itself in something different, because that's just what we are as human beings. As human beings, it's in our nature to have this stigma of racism. It's always going to be within us. Whether you call it racism, whether you call it tribalism, it will always be within us. That's just a fact. It's just about how it is constructed and how you can deal with it and how you can submerge it, because you always... Same as how you're always going to have criminals, you're always going to have psychos, you're always going to have losers, you're always going to have bricks, you're always going to have racists. But it's about decreasing the number of them and reducing their power. But I think that's just the key thing, is that, lastly, politics is life. When people say, no, I just want to watch sports, I don't want to think about politics. When I watch a particular sport is when I can ignore politics. You're being a loser, being ignorant, and you're a loser for thinking that when you watch sports, you don't want to think about politics, and sports people should not be involved in any kind of politics. Because let's go back to Muhammad Ali, and this is the key thing: people criticizing Colin Kaepernick, I don't want you to say a single word about how great Muhammad Ali is. You can't have it both ways. If you're criticizing Colin Kaepernick now, you should criticize Muhammad Ali as well for what he did back in the day. Because in hindsight, Ali is the greatest worker. What he did, he transcended sports. Back in the day, what Muhammad Ali did is very similar to what Kaepernick is doing. It is similar. Difference, makeup, it's dressed all differently, but at the core, when you get to the core of it, it's the same. So again, if you're against what Kaepernick is doing, I don't want you to open your mouth and talk about how great Muhammad Ali is, because they're both within the same boat. It's just that we're living in different times, and different perspectives. So yeah, that's the thing. But I think the key thing, the bottom line here is that sports and politics can't be separated. Politics is life. Principles are life. And principles should be in every facet. So even in football, if somebody was protesting or did that kind of stuff, I'm like, fair enough, let's hear what this guy has to say. Because again, I'm sorry, principles mean more than kicking it. Because I love football, I'll always love football. But my principles, they mean more than putting a ball inside a fishnet. Sorry, they do.